my god, it's a dead person. Yo, we should call the police.
Okay, sir, my name is Agent Ethan and I'm here to ask you a few questions. First, I want to know what happened.
Well, I was just throwing a football around, and there's a dead body behind those two sheds.
So, who do you think did it?
I think it was the town crier.
Are you aware that the name of the victim was feudalism?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, do you have any idea, anything about the subject?
Well, feudalism basically was an independent type of government. Our suspect must have not liked the style of government that they were in. In fact, he hated it so much that he traveled to hundreds of towns all over Europe, eventually leading to the development of trade. So basically, he didn't want feudalism to progress, and basically our victim was a government style that relied basically independently, like no trade with any outside, and yeah. And so our criminal even partook in medieval fairs where all citizens and even citizens of other towns got together and traded in a large market. So he was trying as hard as he could to stop feudalism from progressing,
So,
like that sort of government.
you think it is the town crier?
Yeah, I do.
And do you, anything else that you could say about the town crier?
Well, basically, he thought that his style of government was better. He thought that, trading with other countries would lead to a substantial amount of income and revenue, which it did. So once he had the idea that it would work better than feudalism, he then decided to, kill feudalism, which was really bad. And that's what happened.
Hello, I'm Agent Vivek, and who are you again?
I'm the town crier.
Alright, so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions for this investigation. So tell me, what type of government do you like?
I like one that's more dependent on other countries.
What do you think about the Lord?
I hated him because he took the taxes and we never got a reward for it.
Where were you at this time?
I was at the blacksmith.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Alright, did you know feudalism before?
I knew who he was, but I never really talked to him or anything.
You never talked to him at all?
No.
Alright, do you have any idea who did it, any subjects, anything?
No, not sure.
Not sure. Alright, well, we're done here. Let's go. Thanks for your time. Do you think it was the town crier?
I definitely think that it could have been the town crier because most cities at the time were desperate. I mean, they were like crammed. They had merchants were often so desperate that they sang songs to lure customers in just to get like money or try to like get by. So I definitely think it's part that like the town crier could be desperate, but also he said that he was at the blacksmith at the time. So I think we need to interview the blacksmith.
Yeah, I think when he was saying how he hated the Lord because he took all his taxes,
Yeah.
he might not be that rich, and he might just want to end feudalism right there, so a new type of government could spring up, and they could get rid of the...
Yeah, and the government that he supported was also doing really well for him. I mean, he even said that trade with other countries helped, really helped, just helped the type of government because they were so independent with themselves. They didn't get anything else from other countries.
Yeah.
And also, when they were trading with other countries, they come in big fairs, and the government got to tax the fairs. So once they taxed the fairs, they made a huge amount of revenue money off that. So that's another major part. So I definitely think we should interview the blacksmith first and see if he was there.
And then we'll just go on from there.
Yeah.
Alright, so see you there. Hello, blacksmith.
Hello.
I have a question. Was the town crier here yesterday around the time of 300?
Town crier?
Never did? You come here? Alright, see you around. We know you weren't at the blacksmith. I can explain.
Just give it up! Hey! You're arrested for the killing of feudalism! Put your hands behind your back!
Let's go!
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. The earlier Middle Ages gave way to a larger, outward-looking world of interregional and international trade. One consequence of that expansion was the rise of the towns, a development that meant a number of significant changes and innovations would start to change. The period gave rise to a new money economy, large-scale commerce, and a great local trade fairs, all of which began to redefine medieval society. Booming trade demanded easier ways to handle transactions, thus the demand for money increased. New mines flooded Europe with silver coins and had not been as great, as most business could be handled through the barter or was local enough as not to require a large amount of cash. In the flourishing economy of the High Middle Ages, money came to a new prominence. Therefore, the old ways of feudalism would start to decline. Here we see a citizen talk about the importances of the market and fairs. Can you cut this part out where I mess up? Okay.
Restart that part.
Okay. Here we see a citizen talk about the importances of the market and fairs. We know that the citizens went to fairs, which were rare, and people from all over came to come and feast. Okay. Here we see a citizen talk about the importances of the market and fairs. We know that citizens went to fairs, which were rare, and people from all over Europe came. Though markets and fairs are terms often used indiscriminately, there's a difference between them. For fairs deal with larger things, and only once in the year, or at least rarely in the same place. And to them come from men from afar. But markets are for lesser things, the daily necessities for life. They are held weekly and only people from near at hand come. Hence markets are usually morally worse than fairs. They are held on feast days and men miss thereby the divine office and the sermon and even disobey the precept of hearing mass and attend these meetings against the church's commands. So people from all over the country, all over Europe, were coming to this fair to trade when some days they should have even been going to church, like the old feudalism ways. So this is part of how feudalism progressed through these fairs and trade. The merchant class had a lot to do with it, the burgesses, and part of that was the town crier, and that's who we blamed in the video for. That's why we believe the merchants were the reason for the decline of feudalism, because trade and the rise in the economy led to the downfall of feudalism and self-dependency on their own manners. Thank you.
No problem.